What's up, everyone? I'm Deanna Reese Williams, and I'm going to be talking to you guys today. How do I stay consistent with daily dissertation writing, even though I have to balance the work life of being a full-time faculty member at a community college, along with being a solo entrepreneur? So let's go ahead and get started. So one of the things that I like to remind you all, if you're new to this channel, I'm currently doing a 45-day challenge, which consists of me working on my dissertation, my doctorate of psychology, along with making sure that I do 20 minutes of movement every single day. So over the course of 45 days, I've been going live every single day to give you all a quick update on my progress. So oftentimes I get a lot of questions. How in the world do you manage to write every single day? And is 45 minutes really enough? And I'm like, well, for me, it is more than enough. Doesn't mean that I can't do more than 45 minutes. It's just meaning that I have to do a minimum of 45 minutes. And when you're trying to balance so many different things in your life, sometimes 45 minutes is all that you have for the day. But it's better to do something than to do nothing at all. So let's get into it. Today's video, we're going to focus on my structured approach to my dissertation writing, how I break my task into smaller and achievable goals, my 45-minute daily writing method, along with my productivity tools that I use, such as Canvas and the Pomodoro approach. These are really critical for me. So the way that I structure my writing every single day and making sure that I have achievable goals, first off, when I first started in this journey, I remember just kind of feeling overwhelmed. And overwhelmed in the sense of when you're working on a paper that requires so much time and energy between researching, revisions, formatting, the list goes on. It's a lot to kind of take in at one time. So you really need to break that down into smaller achievable goals. So I have certain days that I do very specific tasks to kind of keep me moving along. So one of the things that really helped me get things in order is the fact that I meet with my chair every single Thursday. So on Thursdays, I know she's going to provide me lots of comments that requires lots of revisions, and I'm going to have to focus on formatting. So Thursday, I spend 45 minutes just working on the revisions. Sometimes I would have a lot of revisions in terms of editing or recommendations she would have me do. So literally, I would write down and review everything that she was recommending for me to do that particular week. So Thursday and Friday was simply just revisions. By Saturday, I would work on some formatting and finishing up last minute revisions. And then by Sunday, I would go ahead and start working on doing more additional research and actually doing more writing. Sunday was typically the day that I would spend more than 45 minutes of working on my paper. Usually I could spend between 45 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours because I had more time to work on the paper. Also on Sundays, I meet with a peer meetup group so we can all hold each other accountable and also be a support to each other through our process of completing our doctorates. By Monday, because I did all this research on Sunday, I'm able to do more writing on Mondays and Tuesdays. By Wednesday, I was able to basically review my entire document or the parts that I worked on my document to make sure that I was ready to submit it to my chair the very next day. And that's my system. I basically took something that was really huge, took up a lot of time, and I just chunked it into smaller pieces to make it manageable. That's how I've been surviving this paper. So another couple of things that I want to keep in mind is my productivity tools. So as a student, we do use what's called a learning management system called Canvas. This is the tool that basically houses all of my assignments, everything that I need to know as a student, and all the questions that I may have. I have to do discussions, reach out to other classmates. Everything is going to be in Canvas, and that's how I pretty much keep myself organized. I also still use my Google Calendar, and I use a handwritten calendar to keep everything organized as well. And this is how I'm able to block my schedule to ensure that I'm basically making time to work on the paper. Another key thing for me was making sure that I figured out the right time to work on my paper. I've said this in previous videos, the best time for me to work on it as a night person is that I would work on my paper after I was done doing all of my work stuff for the day. Don't get me wrong, bless my own heart. I tried really hard to be a daytime writer. It's not for me. I'm a night person. through and through. And because I know that about myself, I might as well just lean into my strengths than trying to fix a weakness that's probably never going to be reversed. Another approach is I do like the Pomodoro approach. For me, I tend to, when I get into a task and really get into a flow, I will just kind of bury myself into that project and almost to a point, like kind of to a default that I won't even walk away. So it's good for me to work for 45 minutes to an hour, take a 15 to 20-minute break, and then come back and continue working. There's some great study. I wish I could make my own study with me. I haven't quite figured it out, but there are some great study with me's, work with me, just different types of listenings, and just so you know when to take your break. So that's been really helpful for me. So here's some questions that I'm also going to answer. How do I schedule and commit to daily writing? So as I said earlier, I write at night. I pretty much know between 8:30 p.m. and 11 o'clock at night, I'm going to be reclined on my couch and I'm going to be writing. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be tying up things for work, emails, emailing students, grading, all of those things. Because I already have my laptop out, which is called habit stacking, I just go ahead, and when I'm done doing my work stuff for the day, I go ahead and lean into the fact that I need to write for 45 minutes. So that's my first approach. I also block it on my calendar to say from 8:30 to 11, I know I'm going to clean up the kitchen. I know I'm going to sit on the couch. I know I'm going to grade, I'm going to email, and then I'm going to get to my paper, probably do some editing, and then I'm done. That's how I do it. Secondly, what challenges do I face in staying consistent? When I first started this process, so the way that I really figured out how to be consistent is that I did a 75-day challenge between the months of October and December, mid-October to mid-December. It was the best thing I could have ever did for myself because I had to force myself to learn how to be consistent. And I found that every day interfacing with the paper, it made the paper less overwhelming, and I was able to make it more achievable because I was able to look at the paper and say, okay, today I'm going to work on this paragraph. Tonight I'm going to work on these 2 areas of research. Tomorrow I'm going to focus on these 5 comments to make sure that my revisions are done. That's how I was able to basically become more consistent. I had to figure out a flow that was going to work for myself, that was going to be manageable to where I can get everything that I need done within a timely manner, but to ensure that I'm still making progress with my paper and meeting the demands of my chair. Let's be real. And then lastly, well, 2 more things. What strategies have helped me stay accountable? I mean, need I say more? I'm over here on YouTube doing a 45-day challenge. Not that I needed a challenge to check in with people to say what I'm doing, but I find that doing a challenge keeps me accountable. I tend to be a little competitive and extremely goal-oriented. I mean, let's be real, this is kind of why I have the channel, right? So, but having a challenge keeps me accountable, keeps me focused. And every day I'm able to just track, okay, this is day 20, this is day 22, this is day 23. And what I do is I take a picture of me doing whatever movement that I'm going to do, and then I upload that to my stories. I mean, it's really simple. And for me, documenting this journey has been really great because there's going to come a time in my life that I'm going to want to reflect on it. And so being able to document it and share it with people, but also just something that I can look at. It's like my own personal yearbook of me working towards this doctorate. And so that's how I've been holding myself accountable. Lastly, how do I keep track of my progress? So again, I use my calendar to basically mark off and say, all right, I worked on my paper for 45 minutes today, done. The same thing with doing a challenge. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me focused. And so those are strategies that I've used to stay consistent with my paper and through this process. So I hope this information has been valuable to you. And I will catch you guys on the next video when I'm talking about my goals and how I'm making progress. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Have a good night and have a good morning, and I'll see you next time.